Welcome, Matt. Thanks for chatting to me today. Roblox has been a new thing for many brands over the last 1 or 2 years, going exponential recently. It's awesome to have you come and join me and share what you guys have been up to. I'd love to start this by getting into your background. I know you guys have done a lot more than what you guys do today. Love to know a little bit of a backstory.
Sure, Matty, great to be here. I'm glad we got a chance to have this conversation. Super League has a little bit of a unique backstory relative to many of the companies who are now helping brands and IP owners get into the 3D web and open gaming platforms, with Roblox really taking up a dominant percentage of that activity. We started off as an esports company. We were helping to bring amateur e-athletes into community-based leagues and tournaments around popular video games, one of which happened to be Minecraft. So we were bringing together young players, and the opportunity was very exciting early on because of how youth sports in general had been declining in terms of participation, how many young people were spending time gaming and competing and playing with their friends. We saw this market opportunity, hold together a terrific plan, a terrific team, great partnerships. And then it became a very challenged business model. The unit economics were difficult. Getting as many people together in pockets of places in person didn't work out as easily as we hoped. Game publishers started to make it a bit difficult for anyone other than themselves to find a return in esports. And so we began to look more into the digital behaviors around some of the games that were at the center of our leagues. And the behavior within Minecraft was the most interesting because of how creative a space Minecraft continues to be and was from the very beginning. And the activity in between gamers, between people who spend time in Minecraft, is just very different, and at the time was quite different from the activity inside most other games. And some of the brands we were working with, who were very excited about our esports player base, got excited when we told them there might be another way to reach the same demographic and these users. So we partnered with a couple of brands to create Minecraft experiences. They performed very well. Sony Pictures was one of our early partners
Very
around
cool.
the very first Spider-Man animated film. And then one of our strategic investors, which was still named Viacom at the time,
Mhm.
asked if we could help them figure out a strategy to engage users on the Roblox platform. We took that opportunity to make sure we understood what was going to have a chance of working and being successful inside Roblox. And ultimately, we did the second ever integration of an entertainment brand into an existing popular Roblox experience on the platform. And it was for the animated series Patrick Star out of the SpongeBob universe that was being launched by Paramount Plus, and as one of Paramount Plus's early attempts to bring in a young audience. And that promotion was a massive success. We generated 162 years of gameplay time when Roblox users were engaged in an environment featuring the Patrick Star characters over 3 weeks. And so we, at that point, were also facing the pandemic, when we naturally had to stop doing our in-person esports events anyway, and it really propelled us into an entirely new direction. And really, since that point, Super League has increasingly expanded our work to help brands and IP owners figure out what it means to engage with Generation Z and
Mhm.
emerging Generation Alpha consumers in 3D environments.
Yeah. You mentioned Minecraft. Minecraft had its spotlight, I believe, more than Roblox, probably like 5, 6 years ago, maybe even before that. Then you transitioned over to Roblox. I would imagine the languages were different. Was the demographic different? What was, Roblox is sort of like an app store. It's got its own experiences. How was Minecraft different? Or how was that sort of difference or transition?
I think the big difference is sort of what Minecraft decided it wanted to be as a product versus what Roblox decided it
Right.
wanted to be. And part of those decisions likely had to do with when each company entered the gaming industry and what they saw as the opening to do something that hadn't been done previously. So when Minecraft entered the gaming space, there was nothing like an open world building platform with, blocky,
Mm.
sort of textures that really had an open-ended experience, but gameplay built into it. And so you could be creative, but also playing at the same time. And it, of course, tapped into multiplayer modes.
Hmm.
And as a result, Minecraft really came out as a game. It was a single game, and it grew to enable user generated games in the form of users creating their own servers. And that became quite expansive. But Minecraft never decided that they wanted that entire universe of creators
Hmm.
to sort of be centrally supported and discovered in one
Mm.
particular way. They really focused on having the best game and the best gameplay experience for an open world, creative, and playable space. When Roblox started to figure out what they wanted to be when they grew up, so to speak, they decided they wanted to be a platform for creators. They
Hmm.
didn't want to be a game. And they essentially launched tools and successfully attracted a remarkable number of young creators to use those tools to build experiences that were predominantly games, but also incredibly innovative and
Hmm.
interactive experiences that had gameplay elements, but were of various types that eventually even became shopping experiences. And so the difference when we started talking with brands was about the reality that you could really build anything you wanted and it could be its own experience. And if you understood the Roblox audience preferences and how it evolves from month to month and quarter to quarter, and what happens with trends and new capabilities and feature sets within the studio, you could really build something that had a meaningful presence in this platform, and you could find a way to have an active dialogue with the player base and the users. Whereas in Minecraft, as a brand, you really didn't have an avenue to reach this remarkable player base the same way. And so Roblox just ended up making it a lot easier for a brand or IP owner to create an audience and a business as they focused on being a platform and not being a game.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you really look at the strength of Roblox, which I actually think every other company, even Fortnite, as large as it is, will find very difficult to emulate, is their creatorship, is their immense amount of creators, whether they be content creators on social media or developers or people making thumbnails. The amount of people they have supporting that as an ecosystem is just enormous. It's a multitude. It's many multitudes away from anything else. And I know Fortnite is trying to compete, but I think it's very difficult to bring that much of a crowd and that ease or lack of friction for using those tools to create products of value to that crowd. I think Roblox has nailed that. Obviously, they've had a couple of decades to continuously work on that. They've just, I think, placed their resources in. They've just placed the right bets to put the resource in the right place at this time. Goes to my next question. It'd be very interesting to know. I know we get asked a lot as, what do you guys think we should do, Fortnite or Roblox? When does it make sense to do one or the other? It seems like it's a thought that Roblox means you have to go low poly. The realism isn't there. You have to dumb down your quality of your aesthetic, your style. Whereas Fortnite, you can do a higher of that. Would love to know what you guys might advise companies on the benefits or the lack of for either or all of those platforms.
It's a great question, one we too get asked regularly. And one of the filters is what you described, the creative fidelity available in each platform. You're right, it's a higher level of fidelity inside Fortnite creative using um, Unreal Engine for Fortnite, UEFN. Uh, Roblox is catching up, and there are some beautiful Roblox experiences in terms of, fidelity and sort of artistry. Um, and ultimately, I think there are some brands who will still be concerned about the art quality and the final look and feel. But to be honest, those brands probably are not the most likely to have an authentic relationship with the user bases because they care more about how their brand appears inside of an environment where the user is not paying attention to the fidelity of the art. The user is paying attention to the value of spending time in this space. So the other filters that really make the most difference are uh, the demographic distinctions between the two platforms and the ability to draw an audience if you choose to create a space in either of these two platforms. So with Fortnite Creative, it is a slightly older audience. Generally speaking, it has commanded more attention from brands who are looking at the 18 to 24-year-old demo, whereas Roblox generally commands the attention more for brands who are looking at the 13 to 17-year-old demo, or occasionally even under 13. The that is changing a bit. Roblox is aging up, so that distinction may become smaller. The other issue is really about how you build an audience. And Roblox, to their credit, has over time spent a lot more energy, or been able to spend a lot more energy in providing tools and mechanisms to enable a brand who chooses to be a creator on the platform to attract an audience. They have existing on-platform mechanisms to do that, whether it's advertising or cosmetic item creation, et cetera. Fortnite Creative hasn't really delivered those mechanisms yet. And to your point, they are facing an initial challenge that is probably more significant. They need to go from under 50,000 creators of Fortnite creative islands, which is what UEFN spaces are called. They need to go from under 50,000 creators to 500,000 plus, whereas Roblox already has 5 million plus. And so I believe Ethic is focused on the right challenge, because as that creator base expands, there'll be a wider diversity of creative islands that leads to a wider audience of users. And it becomes more important at that point to enable brands to have an easier time reaching that wider base of players. And so we'll see, but right now those are the kind of parameters that we share with our partners.
Yeah, I wanted to share something with you. I find I'm still a student of this world of UGC over the last couple of years, diving really deep into it, but learning from everyone. I know we've had a challenge for some of the brands that come in that want to keep their aesthetic, their fidelity. They want to keep, um, their brand image, and they want people within Roblox to associate with that. But if you look at the most popular games in Roblox, the design or aesthetic doesn't really matter as much. It's almost like you go in there, the simple mechanic is right there in front of your face. It's fun to play with. You've got your buddies and you can get in without much education. And that conversation is always a difficult conversation to have, because I feel like if brands really want to embrace Roblox and make the most out of that user base, they have to work within what that user base loves. And I think that also speaks to how successful these creators have been, which is why there's so many creators, is because you can put out a game that you've developed over a couple of weeks, maybe over 2 weekends, and for some reason it could just hit the right mechanic, hit the right audience, be completely fun to play because the thing chasing you looks like a funny clown, right? And you look at the simplicity of that, and brands wanting to come in and bring their identity to some level. Do you find those conversations difficult to have, or do you find brands embracing what gaming is today, at least in the world of UGC?
Another really good question. I think I would frame it in the following way. There are different ways to appear in front of the Roblox user base. One of the ways is to build your own space and to try to make that space attractive on a daily basis at the same level as other spaces on the platform are attractive on a daily basis, in which case you're really trying to create a hit game. That's not easy for a brand to do. Another approach is to create your own space and to program it so that it's attractive to users at times that are important to you as a marketer. And there are some very, effective ways of accomplishing that and drawing attention to the space you build at the time that it's important. Another approach is to really focus on UGC items and to introduce your brand to the Roblox community through avatar items and emotes. And then I would say another opportunity is to integrate your brand into existing popular experiences for either a short or more extended period of time, where the traffic that you are trying to bring to your brand is sort of already inherent in the place where you put your creative experience. And the whichever choice you make has an impact on what you build and the artistic fidelity that you should try and aspire to achieve. Um, and really in that first category more than the others, if you're trying to create a hit game, which again may or may not be the right decision for many brands, the best example of how to think about it that a lot of decision makers at a brand level relate to, that a lot of players on Roblox don't, is South Park, the animated series. When it came out, the original introduction of South Park as an intellectual property was through shipping a DVD. The creators shipped a DVD of an episode to the entertainment community on a broad basis. It was a mailed DVD. People popped it into their computers and they saw this horrible looking, hysterical little episode. And eventually it, was purchased by Comedy Central and became the phenomenon that we all know about. But they never changed their creative aesthetic from a visual standpoint. They relied upon the content, the storytelling, the humor. And if you're trying to create a hit game on Roblox, then the aesthetic is not what is going to bring people in. It is the gameplay loops, the way that you reward your player base, etc. In other approaches, in terms of how you enter the platform, you might have reasons to focus more on creative fidelity and a more accurate representation of your brand.
No, that makes complete sense. That makes, I think a lot of brands are realizing that because there has been quite a lot of activations over the last, say, 12 to 16 months. And some of them have done really well. Most of them haven't done so well. But the good thing is there's so many options. Like you can build your own experiences, like you mentioned, or you can integrate into existing ones. You can have something that you activate on a frequency on a quarterly basis. Maybe you have a sports tournament, a few times a year. So I think all of that is being discovered at the moment. I know Roblox services brands. They've got an ad platform. They've got ways they're allowing brands to get, or even just game developers to reach the audience they want to reach. That's one part of what Roblox offers. I have spoken to a few people that have data platforms and other tools, and it seems like this interesting time to create your own tooling to support the growth within Roblox. Are you guys working on anything like that?
Thanks for asking more about Super League. The answer is, I would suggest that we are the most advanced product-oriented company in the Roblox ecosystem. We have a software development kit, an SDK, that is distributed to more than 3,500 experiences on the Roblox platform who collectively reach about 145 million monthly active users, which is give or take half of the Roblox global audience. And the reason developers have integrated that SDK is because it offers a number of capabilities that help them either with the measurement of certain things happening in their experience or the um, uh, operating efficacy of the process of building their experience, or most important, the monetization of their experience. And in that latter category, uh, while we are an official partner reselling Roblox's official ad formats, we also have a suite of content integration products called pop-up products that we can also provide to brands that are able to be delivered at scale on the platform. So simple two examples. We have a pop-up shop where we can take the collection of avatar items that a brand has created or might ask us to create, and we can um, distribute a branded catalog that is shoppable as a simple distributable item or container that can live in up to 3,500 experiences. Now, no one spends the kind of money necessary to reach that level of scale, but it can be in 5 experiences, 25 experiences, 100 experiences. And for the developer, it's very simple as a drag and drop process. Another example is a music product we have called Sounds, where it's essentially a portable listening party or mini concert. So whereas in the past, it might cost hundreds of thousands of dollars inside Roblox or possibly millions of dollars inside Fortnite to have a big music event, we now have a distributable music event that is much more affordable and can reach a substantial audience through our pop-up product suite.
Very cool. I think love to talk to you about how those works, how those work. They already I can see us as a studio, we talk to brands that need to access multiple games at scale, and we need solutions for that. So I think we need forward-thinking people that are already building on tools. That's very awesome to know. Um, Now, an exciting question. I'd love to know your thoughts about Roblox in the next couple of years. We know what it is as a platform today. I feel like for the last 2 decades, at least the last 5, 10 years, maybe Roblox has existed in the same sort of way. I feel like there's been some big changes made this year, or at least announced this year. I know e-commerce is coming, which is going to change the game quite a lot. What do you think the next, say, 2 to 5 years will look like in Roblox? How do you think the platform will change if you do think it's going to change?
I do think it's going to change. I think a few um, developments are likely. I don't know anything other than what they've said publicly, as you pointed out, around areas like e-commerce. But I think they will start making it easier and easier to build Roblox experiences through the advancement of the Roblox Studio, through AI, and even through companies like Super League, who might be developing tools to make the creation of a Roblox experience a little bit more streamlined. Um, I think the integration of monetizable components in those experiences will also become more streamlined, and there will be sort of easier ways for creators to have a chance of really focusing the experience that they build on, um, driving immediate transactional revenue, as opposed to more hoping that they have created a space that's going to get gamers to spend money on gaming. Um, I also imagine that they've been so successful with attracting creators, and creators are so dedicated to the platform that as the creators age, creators will start to build things that they're interested in, just as they did when they first started building. And there will be this moment where a lot of creators who have been very successful on the platform will begin to experiment with new types of experiences that are not entirely designed to be the next hit game on the platform because a creator either might have hit games or recognize that the odds of success are diminished compared to what they were 3 to 5 years back. And so these new experiences will come from the community, and they will be places where Roblox users start to hang out for social purposes. And um, there have been talks, even I think the CEO referenced, dating on Roblox at sometime in the future. They've already created 17 plus verifiable experiences, and there is a bar that is being built for 17 plus only users, where you will go through the act of ordering a drink at the bar, et cetera. And so um, I think that over the next 2 plus years, you will see a wider diversity of experiences that are frequented by a user base that continues to grow and actually age up. And it will be facilitated by additional products and tools that make creation and monetization easier and more successful.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Any final words? We're pretty much at the end of it, and it was very insightful to me, at least. But any final words that you have?
Well, I would just say for any listeners that or viewers who are really in a position at a brand or IP owner, and they're thinking about how do I engage under 25-year-olds. There's no competing with what we think of as the age of 3D engagement. We are in it, and we're not going back. Gen Z spends more time on Roblox on average per day than any other platform, 2.5 hours a day. Number two is TikTok, but number three is Fortnite, and number four is YouTube. When you think about that as a marketer and you think about where your advertising dollars are currently placed, there's no question that an overwhelming percentage is on TikTok and YouTube compared to Roblox and Fortnite. Now, you don't have all of the tools yet to shift those dollars. We hope some of our tools will get you there. But in terms of thinking about the future, there is no replacement for being in these environments in some way, because 3D engagement is just much more satisfying. It's actually where social conversations take place. It's where real influence between peers occurs. TikTok and YouTube are media sharing platforms. They're not social anymore. And so I think that's just something to consider as it relates to the future of marketing and the efficacy of marketing to drive fandom and consumer passion and affinity, and therefore business growth.
Thank you, Matt. I'd hope to get you back in a year's time, and we'll jam about Roblox again.
Sounds great. Appreciate being here, Matty. Thanks again.